Hey, so I have my next horror thriller for you, and this one was one that I read very quickly. It was a page turner. It is called Acceleration by Graham McNamee. And in this book, the main character is Duncan, and he's 17 years old. And just like many 17-year-olds, he decides that he wants a summer job to make some money before college. And he's working in a Toronto subway system. So that is the subway that you ride on, not that you eat. And while he's there, he's getting very, very bored because he works in the lost and found office, and there's not a lot of traffic that comes through there. So he's sitting there and he's looking around and he thinks, I'm just going to start going through these lost and found items to occupy my time. He looks down and he sees a leather-bound notebook, and he decides to open it up to see what's inside. Well, let me tell you, he quickly regrets doing this because as he opens the book and starts reading, the first thing he kind of reads through, it's saying how many ways to kill and drown a mouse. And there was like times put next to it of like details of what this person did to drown a mouse. And he's like, okay, this is weird. And he kept reading on and he sees notes about people that whoever this notebook belongs to, they're like watching people and stalking people and writing down details about them. And he discovers that this is the notebook of a serial killer. It has clippings from newspapers of things that person's done and notes next to it of like how they're not caught for those crimes that are in the paper. And if it was me, I would be running to the police and saying, oh my gosh, I have this information. But Duncan doesn't do that. He decides that it's too risky to go to the police because they might think that it's him, or they might just not believe the story of like, oh yeah, you have a notebook of a serial killer. And he doesn't want to get in trouble because he wasn't supposed to go through the belongings in the lost and found. So he's kind of stuck in a corner. So he decides he's going to go track down this person based on what they have in the notebook next and like who they're stalking and who they plan to target next to kill. Really scary and edge of the seat stuff. He decides to get his friend in on it with him to help him out. So you have to read to find out what happens to Duncan. Does he ever come in contact with this killer? And what would you do if you were in his place? All right, let me know if you would want to read this book or not.